term of office, or maybe not, but this company and also he, in the past, to go after council members and community members, and I think the same has been done now with this report. It was an excuse to go after community members and councillors who are asking tough questions, and also to be able to silence the media who are onto something. Because it wasn't just a story, it's a fact that there's something wrong with this deal.
Back in May of 2012, after I had my run-in with the city, I contacted George Rusty because his name was given to me by another prominent lawyer as dealing with municipal, and would probably be beneficial for me to retain to deal with my issue with the city.
Okay, well,
I was told by Mr. Rusty that he could not take my case on because he does too much business with the city and it became a conflict of interest.
It's funny how our solicitor didn't know that or remember that, or even the former mayor.
I couldn't speak.
has
They
no
wouldn't let me.
recollection
They
or
won't let
friendships
me
with this
speak at
individual.
council. They keep me shut up. But I've been doing a lot of my own research quietly. This was all spawned from my issue with the city. And I'm not going to sit back. They're going to force me to sit back quietly. I've taken a lot of my stuff off Facebook because the city is watching me. And I have about 300 pages that show that the city watches every account I do on Twitter, on Facebook, and they have people in this community that are watching me, that are sending information into this council about me. I've got the documents. But with regards to the whole depot issue, the very last report that came out, they finally made public at the end, that series of reports that came out, it said that we received a $400 abatement on the price because it needed a new roof. I believe it was within 5 years. And the price estimated with that was $650,000. It also said that it needed new windows, which I believed were in around $250,000. Now, I did send a letter off to Mark. Jeff Davis had presented that we could ask questions via online about the depot. So I sent in a letter last week. I received a response Friday from Mark Robinson. He told me that the only roof repairs is where they have to move the HVAC system. But that's not what that report said. That report said that the roof needed to be replaced within a 5-year period. So I have a bit of an issue with that because that's not included in the contract that was awarded to J.J. McGuire. The other thing that I'm not too sure of is the $2.5 million that was reported in the media as saying that it was window repair, which I knew it wasn't. It was incorporating all of the renos. But Mark has now advised me that J.J. McGuire did get the contract for the window replacement, which is $154,000 to replace the windows, but it's not part of that contract that was just awarded to J.J. McGuire. It's a separate contract. So I haven't been able to find out whether the $2.5 million includes that $154,000 or whether the $154,000 is added to the $2.5. But the thing that troubles me the most is this was supposed to be a turnkey operation. We were building a consolidated depot. We weren't building another city hall. I've got an issue with so many people moving out of our city hall to other locations. We have a municipal law enforcement department that's now separate from our city hall. The city owns another building that they were supposed to move them into downtown that never materialized.
And all this very shortly after spending almost $20 million on revamping City Hall.
Yeah, and now back when they built when I found out that the depot was going where it was, and I knew it was too late to ever stop the deal. I got a hold of Councillor Saunders because there was a spay-neuter clinic that wanted to get some space. They have the money once they get the space to do the renovations, to do everything they needed to do. So I thought, well, gee, here we've got a huge office building that's going to be underused. What a perfect spot on a bus route, everything. So I put the two groups together, and they were told that they can't have any space in this new building. They're moving the Works Depot over. They're moving our parks. They're moving like all these, so they're going to be taking up this office space. But when we were at the meeting, that they gave us an update on all the renovations they were doing, a lot of that space is going to be sitting empty. It's going to be touchdown stations. Well, what the hell do you need a touchdown station for? Why does personnel need to, like, why do we need human resources going down, even contract time, where human resources gets involved in the contracts? They don't negotiate it down at the Works Depot. They're off in some meeting room, some hotel somewhere, which neutral ground between the unions. So
No, these are good questions, and again, it's just too bad that we can't ask council. They won't allow.
But
And-
there's
and
one
the other-
document is missing though.
the AG
When you
report.
buy a commercial property and they say they've done all these renovations, you want to see the documentation on that renovation. They said the college put in $8 million. Why are we putting in a million more? Now are we overlapping what they're
Well,
doing?
they're building, they've got all this empty office space that's touchdown stations, and they have most of the third floor is used for meeting rooms. There's a whole section that's going to be space that they use in the future, which is fine, but they're putting a new addition on in between, and that's going to be the lunchrooms. Like, why don't they use this other space instead of adding on to this building for lunchrooms?
Because
Like, how many
architects-
garbage men are going to be coming back to use a lunchroom?
Architects don't get paid to not design.
Well-
They have to design a new lunchroom to get more money. If they say, well, just use that space, they don't get paid.
Okay, well, this is another problem that I've got. IPM, Independent Property Managers, because I've been looking at what the city spends our money on. I've spent a lot of time on this. Brent can attest to that. One thing I'll point out first, Craig Kelly left August of 2013.
He didn't leave, he was let go.
He was fired. But Craig Kelly showed up. He's working up in Toronto now. Craig Kelly showed up on the Sunshine List for 2013. He left in August, and his pay was only $4,000 less than what it was for the whole year the year before. So we have an employee like that Sunshine List. But how does that show up on a Sunshine List? Why did the city continue paying him?
So he doesn't speak.
Yeah, but you could have done that in a lump sum payment with no taxes. See, the way the city does this bookwork, they hire a project manager. Then they hire consultant after consultant after consultant to do all this work. Is that not the job of the project manager? Is that not why we pay the project manager the big bucks?
On the projects I'm on.
But we're paying a project manager, we're paying consultant to look at this, consultant to look at this, consultant to look at this, consultant to look
Because
at
you don't have
this.
business plans, so you need people to.
Then we're paying for carpets, we're paying for tiles on the wall. Is that not all part of the project itself?
You know, Auditor General would come in handy to answer these questions. But you know, I want to move on because Kathy and Paul also